In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Olympic lifting clean. Now, what I tend to find is that a lot of people learn the clean prior to learning the snatch and the split jerk just because it is an easier movement. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of my favorite tips and tricks that are going to help you improve your clean. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the clean grip position on the bar. Now, what we tend to find is that people have quite a close grip, more shoulder width apart. But the issue is with this, is that that bar is going to make contact with the mid part of our thigh. So as we get into our clean, the thighs get in the way of the bar, creating the bar to come away from us. So instead what we want to do is take our hand slightly wider on that bar so it sits just below our pubic bone and on top of the thigh. Now, if we think of the thigh as a teardrop muscle, it goes in at the knee, and then as it inserts at the hip, that is the shelf that we want that bar to sit on. And once we found in that position and we get into our full clean, we are able to keep that bar super close as we get into the extension. So in the setup, there are two main things that we want to be aware of. The first one is if we take our feet too wide in that setup position, our knees cause us to have a bend in our elbow. So we want to try and take our feet a little bit closer to enable us to keep our arms super long throughout that start position. The next thing we want to make sure is that our knuckles are facing the floor. We don't want the knuckles to be pulling in front of us as we start that lift. Knuckles down is going to enable that bar to stay nice and close to the center of gravity throughout the lift. So now we've discussed the start position, we're going to start our lift. So feet a little bit closer enables me to keep my arms nice and long. Knuckles facing towards the floor. I want to have a rough 45-degree angle at my hip. And the idea in this start position is thinking about leg pressing the floor and maintaining the angle from hip to shoulder until I am past my knees. I'm not looking to allow my shoulders to lift up, nor am I looking for my hips to shoot up as I start that movement. Think about it as very much like a leg press. Set up on that bar, push the floor away, maintaining the angle. As we start that movement, the arms should stay nice and long the whole way through. Don't try and pull the bar with the arms. So next thing to take into consideration is making sure that that bar stays against our thigh and against our body throughout the most of this lift here. We don't want to see any daylight between me and the bar. Any daylight between me and the bar, that bar is away from the center of gravity, pulling me forwards into my toes, which is just going to reduce the amount of power that I've got as I go into maximal extension. So if anything, that bar wants to brush against my thighs and drag against my body as I go into my full clean position, against the thighs and against the body. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is the bar crashing on us when we land in the bottom of our clean. Now, this is probably one of the common issues that we see with people that are starting out learning the Olympic lifts, and when they get into that full movement, the bar crashing on them and causing them to round as they stand out of the bottom of the clean. Now, there's some easy, quick fixes that we can utilize in our setup and throughout the lift that can reduce the chances of this happening. Now, the first thing they're going to try and think about is keeping our arms as long as we possibly can through that movement. Now, to do that, when we set up, really think about trying to squeeze our triceps. We're going to try and contract our triceps in this start position and maintain that throughout the whole of the lift. So even when I get to my top part of the movement, I'm not looking to try and pull that bar to my shoulders. Instead, I'm going to think about keeping my arms nice and long and attacking a vertical jump. And the next tip that is going to help us reduce the chances of that bar crashing onto us as we get into our full clean is making sure that we are using hook grip. Now, if you don't know what hook grip is, check the description below that is going to help us learn how to hook grip. And the next thing that we've got to try and think about when we go into our hook grip is that we don't want to be holding on to that thumb as tight as possible. Okay, the idea of the hook grip is the thumb is the hook and our grip can stay nice and relaxed. That's going to enable us to keep the arms nice and long so we can utilize the power that is generated from our lower body. Do not hold that thumb as tight as you possibly can because you are going to reduce the momentum that we put onto the bar. If you are looking to master your Olympic lifts, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my tips and tricks that are going to take you to the next level.